the best.
Good afternoon. Welcome to your weekly current affairs program, 60 Minutes Nigeria. My name is Ego Sagbolao. I must tell you, as usual on the program, we'll be dissecting a national issue, one that is of concern to all Nigerians. This is a must-watch program today because I have very distinguished personalities with me in the studio who will be dissecting this national issue. We are looking at the recent meeting of the Southern Governors Forum in Asaba, the Delta State capital, where the governors of the states in the south, in the southern part of this country converged, and at the end of their meeting, a communique was released. And of course, the governor of Ondo State, Rotimi Akeredolu, SAN, who is actually the chairman of the Southern Governors Forum, addressed the press. We're looking at Southern Governors Forum and security in focus. Joining me to do the presentation today, I have a very, very vocal analyst and a clergyman, Apostle Kesi Chuku. Nice to have you today.
It's a pleasure.
Okay.
Pleasure. Good afternoon, everybody.
Okay. Now, we also have from the academia, Dr. Maxwell Osage, another vocal analyst. Nice to have you on the program today.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Yes. Well done.
So, we actually have two clergymen with us today. A regular face also on the program, a man of repute, Apostle Elvis Agbonaima. Nice to have you.
Thanks for having me.
So we have from the academia and we have clergymen who have followers. And the clergymen we have today, the youths listen to them. So they actually convey the message that Nigerians need to know regarding the youth, who of course dominate the population of this country. So once again, my analysts, my guests, you are welcome. So like I said, we're looking at the Southern Governors Forum and of course, security challenges. Let me give you a background information. Now, when they met in Asaba, everybody in this country needed to know the outcome of that meeting. The Southern Governors Forum expressed grave concern over worsening insecurity in this country, and of course, other issues, other challenges bedeviling the nation. The governors urged President Muhammadu Buhari to address Nigerians because of the security situation and other challenges. And I must tell you that 17 state governors actually make up the Southern Governors Forum, which include South-South, Southeast, Southwest. And like I told you, the chairman of the forum, Governor Arakunri Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, in company of other governors, read the 12 points communique to the press on the outcome of the meeting. The forum resolved that open grazing of cattle be banned across southern Nigeria, just as they affirm that the peoples of southern Nigeria remain committed to the unity of the country. In other words, the unity of Nigeria is sacrosanct. They agreed that the progress of the nation requires an urgent and bold steps to restructure the country. In other words, they also emphasized restructuring. Other governors were present except Cross Rivers, Osun, while Imo, Akwa Ibom were represented by their deputy governors. So that is the background. Later on the show, we're going to allow Akeredolu to also talk. But before then, we're going to start the program now by dissecting this issue. We'll start with the academia. Dr. Master Osagie, what's your take on this?
Thank you, viewers. I think it's long overdue. I was happy for the very first time that our voices, one way of our meetings here, I said the people that we are supposed, our elders, you know, being an opinion model, we are careful of how we actually openly present issues so that we don't create conflict in the minds of the people or an uncertainty. So in one of our meetings, I remember I said here that the elders that we are supposed to queue behind to demand for the necessary right of what is expected of us in this country are really not saying anything. So that is making us not being able to express ourselves. Now there are channels to which all these things are addressed. I'm so happy for the very first time to know that at least a section within the Nigeria can come together to say, okay, this is our resolution. We create a draft and send to National Assembly. Because if you have listened to all the National Assembly members, the South, I mean the South caucus, the South caucus, whether in House of Representatives or Senate, they've said proud to today, they've also had their opinion in line with this. But it didn't translate to anything. Reason being that the people who has the authority to actually initiate that process didn't say anything. But for the first time, we've seen them come together to say, okay, fine, enough is enough. We are not actually moving forward like this. Let's drop partisan politics. Let's concentrate on the nation. This is not politics. We are talking about the country in general. So coming together to say, okay, fine, this is the way forward. Please, can we drop our party ideology, etc., and focus on Nigeria ideology, which means securing life and property. And it's a welcome development to my own team.
Okay, I can see that Apostle Kesi Chuku is itching to talk. Yes, what's your take on this? Do you think the meeting of the Southern Governors Forum is commendable?
Well, that's what Nigerians want to see.
Okay.
You see, our politicians, I don't know how to describe them. They just want to know what Nigeria want to see. So Nigeria want to see Southern governors come together, hold a meeting as if they cares about Nigerians.
It's a sign that they care.
No, it's not a sign. Because a few months ago, we remember that the president said anybody with AK-47 should be shot aside. Till today, we are not seeing that into practice. You see, now they are done with their meeting. What we are expecting from them is, let's see the action of that meeting.
Okay. Because
as I speak to you, as of yesterday here in the evening, you arrest an Hausa man. This morning is no longer there, found with a gun. You see, we
cannot validate that on this program.
Yes, but the truth remains that our governors, the meeting they just went ahead, they just want us to see. They want to see them whole meeting. So when the whole meeting that is all, don't forget that let us not forget that the president have his own cow that he feeds. So when you now tell the president that we have resolved that this account should be in one place, and he has not accepted, so we want to see the action of the incoming of their meeting, that meeting they did. We want to see them carry out the action. It's not just enough to tell us this what we have discussed and at the end contractor on site. So I think the governor should put more action. Let's see them carry out what they said.
Okay, thank you. That's your opening remarks. Apostle Elvis Agbolaiwa is also itching to make his point. Yes, but I'll start by this. The meeting of the Southern Governors Forum in Asaba, do you think is commendable?
For me, it's very commendable. I want to really say something. You know, a plan without an action is a wish.
Okay.
A plan without an action is a wish.
Okay.
And that's why you see Apostle is talking. Now, I want to a little bit differ from what Apostle said when he was talking, when he said that it's only the president that has the power. It is not true, sir. Now, Nigeria, in Nigeria as a country, our democracy, we copied from America. And America is made up of 50 states. 50 states make up an American as a nation. You know, it's so painful that when you want to copy, just copy the writing, copy it well. It is not really true that the president, it's just because we are not working well as a federation. Because if we are, every state, for example, the governor is the #1 citizen of a state, of his state. Now, that's why you discover that even the governor of Ondo State, when he started saying that this and that will not happen again in his state, you know, some people in the federal were fighting him. And meanwhile, according to our constitution, he's the chief security officer of his state. Therefore, he can decide to say, this thing will not happen in my state. You know, you get this now. You know, the challenge we are having is, like I said when I started, that a plan. That's why some Nigerians are like fed up. That some people are happy. For me, I appreciate the meeting. But a plan without an action is a wish. Because there are people that want to fight. The question is this. The question in the mind of us is, with the federal government led by this, you know, with this federal government, allow the decision of the governor to play out, to roll out, to go, to happen. Yeah. Because now they said no open, you know, your cow cannot be moving from here and there.
You get it? Who is it called?
Now, at the end of the day, will the federal government fight each of the state governor who we want to go into action?
Who is the federal government?
Now,
that's the important thing.
You know, if really we want to practice, you know, democracy, true federalism.
Yes.
You know, every governor of a state controls his state. And that's why as it is now, what we should be talking about now is restructuring.
The governors also talk about restructuring.
There's a serious lacuna. Our constitution is not helping things because a lot of things are going wrong until Nigeria is restructured, until there is state police, until the governor of each state is allowed to really exercise his authority, his power. All these menace you are seeing will continue.
Okay, I'll come back to you. But I think the point Apostle Casey is making is that the police is controlled by the federal, the army is controlled by the federal. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
But don't you think that the governors have just made Nigerians know that they are not lazy? Because there's a school of thought that thought the governors are lazy. Like Apostle Elvis has said, governor of a state is supposed to ensure security of lives and property in the state. But some Nigerians before now be saying, oh, the governors are lazy, they're just waiting for Mr. President to do it. Now, they've met now to say they are not lazy. They too have ideas to secure their state. Don't you think so, Apostle Casey?
This meeting, it is not the first time they are holding such meeting.
No, but for the southern governors,
yes.
now this is the meeting.
The truth remains that he said something, that if the presidency will not go after one of them, if you look very well, the Imo State governor is not there. Was not in that meeting. Very close person to the president.
We don't know why he wasn't there.
Yes, but the truth remains that you will see that very soon now, call will be passed to these people. So you are the one. They say you are the one that brought out that idea. Before you know, they start going backward. this thing, as I'm talking to you now, the governor of Edo State has been against this thing for a long time.
That is this open grazing and all that.
Last 3 weeks or 4 weeks when I was coming, I was driving in Sapler Road. I was coming to the studio here.
Yes.
In broad daylight, I saw them carrying cow to cross the road, and there was police checking point at the front.
And the police cannot do anything for
yes,
now.
because they should carry out the action. That is like what he said. We want to see action. It's not by going to meeting. Now you can see that they are begging the federal government to approve it. It's not that it has been approved. They are begging the federal government to approve it for them, so that they can carry out the instruction. So if the federal, who is the federal government? That is the question I wanted to ask him. Who is the federal government? Is it not the president? It's the president, because that is what we are seeing now. If the president does not support it, any meeting you are holding there is in vain.
Thank you. Now, before we get the thoughts of Dr. Maxwell, let's just listen to the chairman of the SADC.
Development and population growth has put pressure on available land and increased the prospect of conflict. The ban on open grazing in the south, including cattle movement to south by foot. The meeting recommended that the federal government should support willing states to develop alternative and modern livestock management system. 5. The meeting expressed grave concern on the security challenge currently plaguing the nation and strongly urged Mr. President should address Nigerians on the challenges of insecurity and restore the confidence of our people. And lastly, the meeting expressed gratitude to our host, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa, for his generosity and hospitality.
Yes, we've just listened to him. My guest said it's not all about that. The meeting is commendable, but they need action. I think that is what they emphasize. But let's get the take of Dr. Maxwell. Dr. Maxwell, now, the governors have met. Action. How do we see this action?
Okay. I like the fact that we try to give dichotomy to the Bonny issue.
Okay.
And that dichotomy has a way of creating a better understanding of what the whole scenario, the meeting in Asaba is all about. But I haven't said that. I think there are things we need to get clear.
Okay.
In as much as we want to be sentimental on our ideas or how the things function, to get the fact right, constitution-wise.
Okay.
Now, talking about the president having the final say, that is zero. He does not have the final say when it comes to things like this. If you remember, let me take you back to local government autonomy. Indeed, the president wanted that to be, as at that time, when the National Assembly did something and everything. So it was the duty of National Assembly to refer such bill back to the state houses of assembly. And each governor, knowing fully well how our local state house of assembly function, you know, I'm sorry to say,
don't say what we cannot validate.
But we know that they are part of the executive arm of government. They are not just their own, the way it is run, because governor is actually the one controlling them. So eventually, because we saw that now, Chomole was the governor there, was not achieved. Now the same way with, let's see, I like the fact that when we criticize people, let us also learn to give support to them when the need arises. Now, there is no way an action can be bettered without a step being moved. Now, they have moved a step.
Okay.
So all we need to urge them right now is not to crucify them. let's encourage them to take it further. It's not by now. When they came together, whether Uzodimma wasn't there or one other governor wasn't there, in a meeting, you see if you form a quorum. Now that's 17 states that makes up a South-South. You know the quorum by that. So quorum was formed. So it was a legitimate meeting, okay, whether there was somebody or somebody wasn't there. But the key issue is this: agitations like this are followed up by a way of communication, which they have released. That's number one action. Yeah. They didn't just congregate together. They didn't just congregate together to discuss. Yes. After the discussion, they released a communique. And that is a bullet to the president to say, this is what we are saying. So moving forward, if you should listen to Felana yesterday, and at the same time you listen to some senators and some prominent Nigeria. There is a guy from the north, a House of Representative member from the north, who personally stood yesterday and said, we have long waited for this to happen. Now, if you even listen to Arewa Consultative Forum, which is a body we know always cry out on Northern Affair, said today that yes, they support the closure of open grazing, but is the part of the restructuring they are not okay with. So that's to tell you that it's long overdue the way we are grazing our animals in Nigeria. So what we are to focus on right now is to say, please, Governor, you people have met. I said it in my opening remark when I said, for the very first time, I get to understand that the governor can propose a bill. So this is not a presidential bill now, and it's kind of a South executive bill to the National Assembly. Just like every individual can create a bill or move a motion or to see how a bill can be initiated. So if they draft their memo and forward such memo to the National Assembly, you are there be a white paper to the National Assembly whose statutory right is to legislate or amend our constitution. As we see, we do not have the capacity to congregate all the region to say, okay, let's create another constitution, because many people are against that as a result of what they feel they should gain. We saw the confab in 2014. We didn't see the light of the day because the then president lacked the will to actually to follow it up. Now the point is this: if you should wait for president to say yes on this thing, we will not get results. Okay. Because we know the body language of the president and some core northern people. So what they are to do, forward such bill to the National Assembly. Now that you know that all your South caucus are in support of that bill, you agree with me, it's all about lobbying. Legislation is all about lobbying. Passing bill is all about lobbying. So it's not by force or by this. So what they need to do to quickly round it up, what they need to do when that bill gets to the National Assembly, part of the middle belt, which I know we support them, certainly we will get it to support that bill, and that bill will fall back to the various states again for adequate legislation and their approval for that to turn. If that is gotten, he becomes an opportunity. But to say ban open grazing by mount, there is no law that prohibits that.
Apostle Casey Chuku to comment now. Now, what you have said now is good. You are from the academia and you've been able to create the background and the way it should be. At the end of it all, when the bill sailed through all the necessary readings, don't you think, Mr. President, that will still sign into law?
Yes, thank you very much. I like the fact that you said Mr. President will not be the one. Let him reject it then, and let him wait for the repercussion of rejecting what the people have agreed upon. That is the point.
I can say, Apostle Casey Chuku.
Then you will not say governor. You can't say governor again because they have done their part.
So let's wait for it to get to the president.
Let it get to him first. We have not tried him. Let's try him first.
I'm really surprised because it is not today the National Assembly started passing that bill. Let us not compare the government of Adams Oshomole and this government we have now.
Okay.
It's different.
Okay.
Because we remember when fuel went to 140 naira. We all know what happened in this Nigeria. Even in those states here, in the area, everywhere was shut down. We enter 120, we enter 140, we are going to 200 now.
We hope we don't get there.
We pray so, but in some place they are selling 200. They are selling 200, and the government is not saying anything. House of Assembly is not saying anything.
No, but so, the government has made it clear that the pump price is at a particular price. So anything outside that is not for the government. It's not from the government.
Maybe before that your Monday, House of Assembly will talk about
it. But
you will see that there will be no action.
Okay.
What I am saying that it will not work.
Of the doubt. But then I will not let you go, Apostle Kezi Chuku. The question I have for you now is this: part of the demand of the Southern Governors Forum is ban on open grazing. Now, before that meeting, some states have taken steps on their own.
Laws on their own.
In Benue State,
yes,
the law is functional there. Yes. They arrest defaulters. We follow the news. But we also understand that the federal government has a proposal of ranching, wanting to get land from some states for the purpose of ranching, and that has been resisted. Now that the southern governors are saying ban on open grazing in the southern part of the country, do you subscribe that they should cede land for ranching? That's the question I have for you.
But the problem we have about land is, you know, the northerners. If you give them one room, before you know they occupy everywhere.
I disagree with you.
No,
this is a federal government policy. Let's not talk about tribes now. This is a federal government policy. They are saying they need land for ranching. So, what's your take on that? Now that the southern governors are saying
nobody can trust them, because the truth is that this open grazing is being sponsored by northerners. You understand? And everybody knows the do's and don'ts of northerners. To northerners.
But many people are involved. And it's a business.
Have you ever given a northern man, a gate man in your house, and tell him you are the gate man of this place, and come there in the afternoon? It was only him you employed. Before you know, you see more than 30 people sleeping in that same place. Some people sleep outside your house. That is why some people are afraid and say no.
That is more security for your house.
We will not give you any land, because you people will not claim it again. By the time we now say you people are passing your boundary, before you know, killing will start again.
Okay.
So Nigerians are afraid. That trust is not there.
Okay, thank you, Apostle Kese.
If these people can be made to face the law anytime they break it, do you know what it means that someone committed an offense and we see it before our very eye that this person is facing the law? For example, you know, when you are a courtist and you are caught in Edo State, you will see how the police, before you know, they say the matter they courts, before you know, the person is in White House. We want to hear issue like this. That
in other areas.
Yes, that's the only way we can begin to trust. Anything they say, okay, wow, if they just try it, we know the law will face them. Okay. But this one, if you give them the chance, before you know, the next 1 hour they have paid them.
Okay, thank you. Let's get the thought of Elvis Agbonaima. So Elvis, I can see that you also have your uncle, but I'm going to ask you a question. Now, part of the demand of the Southern Governors Forum, ban on open grazing. Now, grazing, just like we have farmers, there are people rearing, it's called animal husbandry. There are people also rearing cattle. They need to survive. Do you think it's good for the different states to maybe demarcate and say this land only for ranching? Do you think so?
I want to answer your question from this angle.
Okay.
We must know that Nigeria is bleeding as we speak now. And those states, every of the states is bleeding. And that's why you see the governors. When you try to kill me, maybe you try to plan my downfall and you couldn't succeed. I forgive you, but I don't need the friendship. I don't need it. You know why? If you yourself and you die, even God will ask you question. You didn't use your brain, wisdom. You got it? Because due to the situation of ground, the insecurity, what this level of open grazing has caused, we shouldn't discuss that for now. The issue should, we should be out of
fighting or the governors are calling for, the number one restructuring that they are asking for is resource control.
Yeah, it's part of their demand.
That is the number. That is the number one.
But before you talk on that, talk on this.
I'm coming. I want to.
That restructuring is another thing.
I want to use that to answer your question.
Okay.
Egosa, do you know what it takes to maintain the financial stability of security architect? Now, do you think the governor is happy that the money that is supposed to be used for another thing, he's pumping it into that particular aspect right now, of which there is no allocation for it? Now, this is what they are saying. I think we need to get this right. Now, when we are talking about restructuring, you see this 60% thing to federal government, 40% to state government.
Yes.
Do I live, I don't understand, do I live in Abuja? That an Abuja collects 60% of the oil or the mineral or the solid mineral in my backyard? Then you will not tell me that is not how a federation functions. Now, the governor will be able to do X, Y, Z if and only if the resource control or the money as at when due is well allocated, that they are the one paying tax. Federal government tax them, they pay tax. Now, they will tell you that I can go to any length to make sure the security is stabilized. Now, the point I'm trying to make, not that vigilante and all these things, they are not good. But is that actually the right thing? It is because it's only when a father is failing, he start asking the child, don't you know I'm your father? Now, when a question gets to that level, wait, because at this point in time, we have lost it and we have resorted to vigilante. Under normal circumstances, the state government should be able to tell their chief police officer in their state. Now, we listen to advanced country, Western country, where we hear sheriff in town. It may just be one small place, only 5 police in that particular local village. The police, these people cannot be able to exhibit that. The governor cannot be able to exhibit that by the way of this allocation sharing formula, which is really not helping. Why do we need to commit so much power in presidency and be killing other arm of government as if our life lies on presidency? I do not know the president, but I know my governor. So I think it's high time. Let's leave this issue of trying to amend or patch or trying to create a kind of... The real thing is this. It is high time that you allow the security architecture to be determined by the state governor and to be determined by the local government chairman, so that they can provide security for their people. Okay. Now, the reason why you see that is working is that because the vigilante are responsible to the governor, not to the presidency. Now, the issue my brother is raising, that, they release K-47 by themselves. Is it not the same people that are releasing them that bought the gun for them?
We cannot authenticate.
No, let's be real. Let's be real with our analysis.
We can't authenticate.
So, but the point we are trying to make, a country where a minister can, for now, had
the security issue.
Okay.
Now, I don't want to lament over the issue. I just want to provide solution.
Yeah.
The government should make the work of the police, for example, very attractive.
Okay.
Because if you go to the Western world, if you see a police officer there, you will be happy to be a friend of him.
Yeah.
Now, for example, if we want to really fix this security issue in Nigeria,
yes.
It's good. People are talking about employing more head of those involved first. Because if my life is not secure, you want me to come and go on a rescue mission. If he dies there, he doesn't know what will happen to his family. You get it now? If, for example, a police officer, a military officer, doesn't think of the car to drive, doesn't think of the food to eat, doesn't think of shelter, if you remove those things, if you settle those areas, he receives good salary, sir. Even with the few personnel we have, they will do well. Many of them, their lives are not secure. Their family lives, when they look at their family, they look at their children. That's why sometimes when an armed robbery case is taking place, you call them. They will wait for them to operate and go. They will not come later. It's not their fault, because they know that if anything should happen, their life, their family life, the life of the children, their education, everything might just go the other way around. You get it now? Because the government have not really taken the people, this agency, this security agency serious.
But the government is
funding all the money that is released every year. It doesn't get to them. Okay. It's being shared.
That's another topic for another day.
Let us not just be talking about employing more hands. Even the vigilante we are talking about now, we need to encourage them, because now many of them have weapons. By the time they are not well taken care of, they will start using it.
They are being coordinated.
Let me tell you, sir. And someone that is hungry is an angry man. You get it now?
So
there is serious hunger in the land.
The point you are making is that they should be well taken care of.
They should be well taken care of by the government and those who are already doing well in the society. You can start from your area. Those vigilantes in your area, gather them. Sometimes be using this. It has to encourage them, making them happy, and that alone can reduce crime. That alone can encourage them.
I agree with you.
It's true. It's true.
But let's look at devolution, the restructuring now.
Restructuring.
Yes. Do you think state government should be allowed to control their resources?
The state government already have power, but the federal government is not allowing them to governor. As a governor of a state, you took an oath to be in charge of your state. To be in charge, you can say, well, because of what is happening, nobody is allowed. Just like if a governor comes out and says between so time, nobody should go out. Everybody will be. You already have the power. Yeah. That's it. I don't even see the need of going on this area of open grazing to say we must go, let the president approve it. You are the chief security officer of the state, just like you have your house. You can determine who enter your compound, who is not supposed to enter your compound, because you're in charge of your house, your compound. As a governor, you are in charge of your state for 4 years. You can decide to say, oh, because of what is happening, just like a Rivers State governor said, between so hours, there's already a coffee, because he has the power. The people gave him the power. So the governor can come out to say, we don't allow open grazing, anymore. And if you are caught, you'll be arrested. If you want to make it, you can do that with even the House of Assembly. Yes, because the governor has the power of his own, given to him by his people. Now, restructuring. The reason why we are clamoring for restructuring, sorry to go to this level. Yes. When this present federal government came, his appointment was one side. People say, hey, leave him now. Look at the problem now. It was one-sided. Anybody want to appoint in different key position, it looked as if it was one section of Nigeria that was existing. That is another major problem we are having now, because it now look like every other region, every other part of the country, like America, make up America as a state. It is because everything has been properly done. Their democracy is a classical one. That's why you see everything is working fine. A governor in America is like a president.
In his state?
In his state. If we want to practice democracy, we want to practice federalism, we should practice.
Casey, now, 2 questions. Restructuring. Do you believe that this restructuring everybody is talking about, even the certain governors are talking about it, let state control their resources, pay royalty to the federal, devolution of power? Do you think that is the solution to Nigerians' problem? 2, don't you think different states should address security at state level instead of certain governors coming to maybe advocate for a regional security outfit? Those are the 2 questions.
Okay, let me answer this last one.
Okay.
From there, I heard him saying, where will the governor see money to pay vigilante? Don't forget there's what called security votes
for each governor.
And you will know that for some years we don't have any security challenge like we have now. And that money is enough to even employ more than 20,000 vigilantes, and they will be living fine. It is now we need that money. We want to see that money into action. I love what the governor did, but you should do it well.
Which governor now?
The governor of Edo State.
Okay, you are particular with Edo now.
Yes, I love what he did, buying them vehicle, but the vehicle is not enough. All those vehicles that they gave to Wabaisiga police, he should recover it from them and he should give it to this vigilante, because they are the one that is doing the real work. Because I don't know what they are using those Wabaisiga to do. They are using to do collect money in the checking point.
We cannot also authenticate that. That's an accusation we cannot accept here.
It's not accusation. It's something I've seen. It's something, and if you need the video, play it. Where they are collecting money on the junction, they are not even fighting the crime. Now look at what the police are supposed to do. Wabaisiga. It is now vigilante. They are the one doing it. So the governor should encourage these people more than those state police. Last time we told you here, when you call police, they will tell you no get vigilante number. Call them. Now they go what they call it.
Who came to IGP?
Armed robbers.
Okay.
Came to IGP in Sapler Road and stole POS and money. What I saw, oh God, I slept with my 2 eyes closed. The way vigilante were moving in the area, and what did they happen? Is there war? They say no, some armed robber. I saw some walking on the road. They were describing the vehicle. Say, okay, you people block it, you people block it. Before you know it, in the next 1 hour, those people were captured. If you go to police station, they'll tell you, sign here, bring money for this. Before you know, 5 hours, they say, do you suspect anybody? But look at the speed response. They didn't even wait for anybody to report the case. They saw what is happening because they are everywhere. And they went straight ahead and captured these people. Look at the people that were kidnapped. Who did it? Vigilante. What are our police doing? They are not doing anything.
No, it's not only vigilante. Joint security agencies,
it was vigilante that when
rescue the victim.
Yes, because you know vigilante, after they have captured, police will not show face. You will not understand. It is vigilante that did it. Nigeria police does not even have the effort to do that.
No, I disagree with you. They do. Nigerian police have been in the forefront in the fight against crime.
Yes, the problem with police, that's not true. Do you know that some Nigeria police are richer than AIG, CP?
Okay, can we go to restructuring now?
Some Nigeria police
let's
are richer because
if
you go to police station, if you know the amount of money that they used to recover.
Okay, now Apostle Casey, you know what I have to interject? Now this information you are giving, we don't have it. It's not at our disposal. So we cannot authenticate it on this program because we are communicating to mass media. You understand? So that's why we must interject. We cannot authenticate it. You may have your information, but we can't authenticate it. So we won't accept it on this program. Let's go to restructuring now because time is not our friend.
Now the restructuring aspect is, it will not even work now. It will not work. Why? Because of the president. The reason why I always say the president, people say, no, the president does not have power. The president does not have power. He has proved time without number that anything that the president is against will not work. So it will not work now. It is after the apply. My suggestion is not a prophecy or anything, but that is what I've seen. It is after this government before all those things can even work.
Okay, now, the Southern governors also said the president should address the nation. Do you think he should address the nation now?
You will not see that.
Okay, Dr. Maxwell, do you think the president should address the nation? It's one of the demands of the Southern Governors Forum.
I think in as much as we are dysfunctional in our collective way of bringing development to the nation, we should also be optimistic in encouraging. And when we are in public like this, let's also get our fact and figure clear so that these same people, just like I said the last time, if our police, if they want to work, they will work. What we see that is making them not to be able to achieve what you see is a dysfunctional system. Not that they are not good. We have a very good police.
They've distinguished themselves. Nigerian police
distinguished themselves over and over again. Now, when we say, yes, indeed, restructuring might not give us the El Dorado stuff that we clamor for. But see, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a step. So we cannot just say, oh, because we are clamoring for we are asking for restructuring now. Restructuring, automatically we are not there. No, it's a step-by-step thing. And as a scientist, I believe in algorithm. And algorithm is a systematic way, step-by-step procedure you follow in getting to your result. Now, in as much as we want to agree that, okay, the president has enormous power to twist certain things, I think we have gotten to the break. We have gotten to the zenith of what this nation entails. Prior to the president becoming a president, it was not as this. Just less than 6 years, the country has taken a new dimension in all ramifications. But be that as it may, let us not rule the fact that we have a police who is better than the vigilante.
Thank you, Dr. Maxwell. So, time is not our friend. So, just a quick one. Yeah. Just a quick one, Apostle Agbonaima, just a quick one.
I want to say this. I want to end with it by telling our people that we should also pray. Because not just the president, when this president came on board, before he came, he felt he could do the job very well. But I've discovered over the year that there are some personalities. There are some personalities in this nation that is doing everything to frustrate this nation. Therefore, we should not just only lament, we should also pray for this nation. Because there are people in this Nigeria that are fighting to make sure that there is no stable power. There are people in this nation, not just the president. Even in this state, there are people that are fighting to make sure there is crisis. When there is crisis, there are people that enjoy it.
Thank you.
Therefore, we as a nation, as Nigeria, we should pray. And God bless you.
Time is not our friend. Apostle Casey, a quick one.
Yes. Edo State Police, humble yourself. Meet the vigilante. Ask them, how come you people are catching more armed robbers, catching more terrorists in Edo State? Let the vigilante teach you. Let us stop saying they are professional, they are professional.
Apostle Casey, thank you. Please, I take exception to that. Nigerian police, you are doing well. The vigilante are complimenting your effort. Yes. That's the way we look at it. They are complimenting your effort. So, Apostle Casey, thank you. Dr. Maxwell, thank you very much. Apostle Elvis, thank you very much. And my viewer, thank you for your time. Your 1 hour with us, I hope it was well spent. And all our Muslim friends, happy Eid al-Fitr to you. Do have a wonderful day. Till next week, we'll be looking at another national issue. My name is Egosa Agbonlao. Bye-bye.
This is ITV.
Keep watching ITV, man. Keep watching ITV. No shaking.
Certainly.